Hi everyone, welcome back if you had been here for a while, and welcome if you are new. We are finally having a beautiful autumn day, and that makes me really happy. Today I'm going to tell you about something I learned recently, and if there is time left, we'll talk a little about the royals, or otherwise we'll carry on talking about them tomorrow. Okay, so let's get into it. In yesterday's video, I mentioned that I always thought that there's no such thing as a soulless human being. I thought it was something out of a vampire movie or a zombie apocalypse movie. Even Deepak Chopra said there's no such thing as a soulless human being. But yes, I don't really care how much of a celebrity he is or how rich he is wrong, as he is wrong in many things. But let me not go on with that topic. Maybe some other day. But in the case of Deepak Chopra, there are only light and dark souls. And that is true to an extent, but from what I have studied, there is indeed light and dark souls and soulless people, people without a soul. To date, no scientist or researcher could really fully explain what we call the soul, except to say that it is a combination of our consciousness, our emotions, our awareness of ourselves and everything around us, and how we respond to it. That is putting it very simply. Some people will, however, tell you or try to tell you that the concept of soul is only or primarily a spiritual or religious belief. But that is indeed not true. And only once you start breaking down the concept of soul into its components do we actually understand what it is and where it comes from. We mere humans may use other words to describe a soulless person. We may say they lack human qualities like empathy or the ability to feel deep emotions. We sometimes also say someone is cold or unfeeling. There is also the word golem, Golem, which refers to a body without soul in some traditions, or anatman, a Buddhist concept of not self. The word golem in Hebrew. Now please, Hebrew speakers, correct me if I'm wrong. I use Google Translate and you should know how that goes. Anyway, according to what I could find, the word golem in Hebrew basically means incomplete, not fully formed, not completed internally, or hollow. It can, for instance, be used to describe a butterfly cocoon. There are other words to describe being without soul, words like automaton, zombie, demon, or just plain empty. So before we get to the physical, more academic explanations of a soulless being, let's shortly look at the more spiritual aspect. You see, it is said that unlike animals, which cease to exist if their soul or spirit left them, human beings can continue to live or exist without their soul or spirit because of our advanced development, the higher functions of our human brain. Humans have the capacity to reason, to make decisions, our ability to speak, and so on and so on. But it is indeed these advanced functions of our brains which also makes it possible for a human being to exist without a soul. Many authors and artists have tried to portray a soulless person in their work, none 100% successfully, because It is hardly possible for a person with a soul to portray someone without. But there was, for instance, Heathcliff from Wuthering Heights. His actions often seemed detached from humanity, reflecting on an emotional void. The Stranger from The Stranger by Albert Camus. Meursault exhibits a profound indifference to life and an emotional emptiness. There are a number of others, but I mean, you can go look up those particular books for yourselves if you are really interested. I'm not going to name them all because it doesn't really have much to do with what I really want to talk about. Okay, so now we get to the more scientific and practical. Again, the human language falls short on medically or scientifically describing someone without a soul. But as a non-professional, I'm going to try by using words you already know and some you may or may not know. There is alexithymia. It's also called emotional blindness, and it is a neuropsychological phenomena, and it is characterized as the inability to recognize, express, feel, and source one's emotions. There's currently no consensus as to whether it is a personality trait, a medical issue, or a mental disorder. It is present in about 10% of the average population and in about 50 to 85% of people with autism or people who are on the spectrum. Apathy. Someone who suffers from apathy cannot connect emotionally with others. They are indifferent to pain, joy, or suffering of those around them. They are what we call emotionally flat. Anhedonia is the lack of interest, enjoyment, or pleasures from life's experience. And then, of course, there's sociopathy and psychopathy. Now, not all sociopaths are soulless, and not all psychopaths are soulless, although we would like to believe so. Nor are all psychopaths or sociopaths narcissistic, or all narcissistic people sociopaths or psychopaths, okay? But it is likely that a sociopath, a psychopath, and a narcissist with alexithymia or anhedonia and or narcissistic traits would also be without a soul. The reason why we say not all sociopaths or psychopaths are soulless is because some of them do feel. One may even experience joy at hurting other people. But the guy who feels nothing is the one without soul. One day I'll tell you the story of Brian Cohey Jr., a young man without a soul, over on my other channel. But for now, let's move on. How do we recognize people without a soul? Number one, they don't have empathy. They have no concept of empathy, none. Number two, they are unforgiving. For soulless people, forgiveness is an alien concept. They are cynical. No, not like in the Tooth Fairy or Santa does not exist. No. This type of cynical person will try to eke out every single ounce of positivity from any situation. They are egotistical. They are arrogant, disconnected, and often retreat into ego. Number five, they have dead eyes, glassy eyes, beady eyes, eyes that will not laugh along with the mouth and the sound that comes out of the mouth, for instance. Number 6, they are over busy. Because there's a void inside of them, they fill it with activities. Number 7, they avoid deep, consistent conversations. Number 8, they are manipulative. They are happy to distort the reality, to lie, and do whatever they can to make other people believe in their lies. Number 9, they are narcissistic. Everyone else is just a stepping stone to help you or an obstacle to push out of the way. Number 10, they cannot visualize the future. They actually live day by day. Number 11, people generally do not trust them. Aside from the lying, etc., they just tend to give off a strange vibe which most people can feel a mile off. Number 12, they can't stand children and animals. Children and animals don't have rational, logical mindset, but they base everything on their gut feelings. So children and animals have an uncanny ability to sense when people are off, okay? And they will shy away from these people. Hence why soulless people do not like children and animals. Number 13, they do not care much for the arts, music, theatre, painting, sculpture. Nothing actually moves them. They are emotionally numb and cannot understand the things people feel when they engage with great art. They can understand the logic behind good art, the value of a piece, etc., but they cannot feel it. Number 14, they have nothing that makes them an individual. We all have certain quirks, dislikes, hobbies, passions, all of which identify us as individuals and which leaves an impression on those around us. A soulless person has nothing memorable about them because they have nothing inside them. I just want to interrupt myself for a couple of seconds and refer you to the writings of a man by the name of Lachlan Brown and a website by the name of Hack Spirit. You can also connect with Lachlan on Facebook and X. A fairly big amount of what I was talking about today comes from articles written by him. Okay, guys, and with that, I'm going to love and leave you. Tomorrow, I'll try to apply all of this to someone we all know. So until then, please stay safe and take good care of yourselves. Bye.